This is how it all started. Some years ago, Mama Osato was a woman living in the heart of Benin City. She was once happily married, believing that she had found a partner who would stand by her side through the ups and downs of life. But fate had other plans. One day, without any warning, her husband walked out on her and their children, leaving them to struggle alone. He did not leave a single naira for their survival, and he never looked back. At first, Mama Osato thought he would return. She waited, hoping that maybe it was just a farce. Maybe he needed time to figure things out. But days turned into weeks. Reality hit her like a heavy stone. She was truly on her own, with no steady source of income. Feeding her children became a daily battle. She knocked on every door, seeking help from relatives and friends, but she was met with disappointment. Some avoided her calls, while others told her plainly that they had their own problems to deal with. The people she once helped turned their back on her. It was as if she had become invisible. Desperate, she took any job she could find. She washed clothes for people, scrubbed floors in houses, and worked as a salesgirl in a small shop. From morning till night, she moved from one task to another, but the money was never enough. Every kobo she earned disappeared too quickly, spent on rent, school fees and food. Her children were growing, and they needed more than she could provide. The weight of her struggles pressed down on her like a heavy load. Every night, she lay awake, staring at the ceiling of their small poorly ventilated room. Her children would be fast asleep. Beside her, their tiny body coiled up. On the thin mattress they all shared, she listened to their slow, steady breathing, and silent tears rolled down her cheeks. How would she take care of them? How long could she keep fighting before she broke down completely? Then one day, after thinking deeply about her situation, she decided to start selling cooked food on the street of Benin. It was not an easy decision, but she had no choice. Early in the morning, before the first cock crow, she would wake up, light her stove, and start cooking. The smoke stung her eyes, but she kept going, preparing different meals: jollof rice, beans, yam porridge, and sometimes pepper soup. By 6 a.m., she would carry a big cooler on her head and set out, moving from one street to street, hoping to sell everything before noon. At first, she believed things would get better. She thought she had finally found a way to take care of her children, but life was still difficult. Some days, she barely made any sales. She would stand under the hot sun for hours, calling out to passerby, but they walked past as if they did not hear her. Sometimes, people would take food and promise to pay later, only to disappear without a trace. Other times, the food would spoil because there were no customers, and she would have to throw it away. Money wasted, effort wasted. There were days she went home empty-handed, unable to buy even garri for her children to soak. They would look at her with hungry eyes, and she would force a smile, pretending everything was fine. But instead, her heart was breaking. How long could she keep living like this? One evening, after a long and disappointing day, Mama Osato sat on her small bed in their one-room apartment. The room was dimly light by a flickering lantern, casting long shadows on the cracked walls. She could hear the distant sounds of cars honking and traders shouting outside, but inside there was only silence. She looked at her sleeping children, their tiny bodies coiled up on the tiny mattress. Their faces were peaceful, unaware of the heavy burden their mother carried. Their clothes were old and worn, but they held onto each other, seeking warmth. Mama Osato heart ached as she watched them. They deserved better. Tears rolled down her cheek. She covered her mouth to muffle her sobs. Not wanting to wake them, she felt helpless, lost in a sea of problems, with no one to turn to. Is this how my life will end? How will I take care of my children? She muttered to herself. She wiped her tears with the edge of her wrapper and took a deep breath. No, she could not continue like this. Something had to change. She had struggled for too long, and she was tired. That night, sleep refused to come. She tossed and turned, thinking of all the people who had turned their backs on her. Friends who used to laugh with her now avoided her. Even her own family had stopped picking her calls. She had begged and pleaded, but no one cares. By morning, before the sun had fully risen, she made up her mind she would visit a herbalist. She had heard stories about people who went to herbalists and found solutions to their problems. Maybe there was something she could do to attract more customers. She had never been to a herbalist before, but she was desperate. If there was a way to make her food business grow, she had to find it. After asking a few people discreetly, she got direction to a well-known herbalist in a quiet village on the outskirts of Benin City. The journey was long. She took a bus and then a motorcycle that rode deep into the forest. The road was rough, filled with potholes, and surrounded by thick trees that blocked out the sunlight. When she finally arrived, she stood before a small mud house with strange symbols painted on the walls. The place smelled of burning herbs and something else she could not recognize. A voice called out from inside, "Come in." She stepped in hesitantly. The room was dark, light only by the glow of red candles. Dry leaves and bottles filled with unknown substance lined the shelves. In the middle of the room sat an old man with deep wrinkles on his face. His eyes were sharp, as if he could see into her soul. "What brings you here?" he asked in a deep, calm voice. Mama Osato knelt before him, her hand shaking. She explained her struggle to him, pouring out her heart. She told him about her husband's abandonment, her suffering, her hungry children, and how no matter how hard she tried, her business were failing. The herbalist listened carefully, nodding as she spoke. He did not interrupt. When she finished, he remained silent for a moment, as if weighing her words. Then, in a slow, deliberate voice, he said, "There is a solution, but you must be ready to do what it takes." Mama Osato quickly responded, "I will do anything, Baba. Just tell me what to do." The old man studied her face, his eyes dark and unreadable. Then he leaned forward and said, "What I will give you will change your life, but once you start, there is no going back." Mama Osato swayed hard, but she did not hesitate. She had come too far to turn back now. At first, she thought he would ask for money, but his request left her in shock. "Bring your use pad," the herbalist said. "I will burn it, add some items, and grind it into black powder. Before you sell your food, you must put a little inside." Mama Osato's body went cold. Her breath caught in her throat. She had heard of different kinds of charms, but never this. Never in her life had she imagined using such a thing just to sell food. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Her heart trembled. Do you want to remain poor forever? The herbalist asked, his voice deep and commanding. His eyes locked onto hers, dark and knowing. She lowered her gaze. She wanted to scream, to refuse, but the truth was staring her in the face. She had nothing. She was tired of begging, tired of watching her children go to bed hungry, tired of struggling without results. I do not know, Baba, she whispered. The herbalist choked. You do know. You are just afraid. But fear will not feed your children. Fear will not bring customers. If you want to be successful, you must do what others are doing. She remained silent, her heart pounding. Was this how the successful food vendors she envied made it? Was this the secret behind their booming businesses? She left the herbalist place, feeling uneasy. When she got home, she sat in the dark, staring at the walls, unable to sleep. The words of the herbalist echoed in her head. For a whole week, she battled with her conscience. Maybe things would change on their own. Maybe she would get lucky. She woke up each day, hoping for a miracle, hoping that customers would suddenly start buying from her. But nothing changed. Each day was the same struggle. She would carry a cooler from street to street, her voice hoarse from calling out to people. Yet they walked past her, as if she did not exist. Sometimes she returned home with all her food untouched. The money she had left was almost finished. Soon she would not be able to buy ingredients to cook at all. She had no choice. With a heavy heart, she went back to the herbalist. She brought the items he requested, about the tents. As she handed them over, the herbalist wasted no time. He took a used pad, mixed it with other strange items, and set it on fire. As the smoke rose, he chanted words she did not understand. When the burning stopped, he ground everything into a fine black powder and poured it into a small bottle. This is your key to success, he said, handing it to her. Before you start selling, sprinkle a little into your food. Do this every day and watch what happened. Mama Osato took the bottle with shaking hands. Her heart felt heavy, but there was no turning back now. That night, she could barely sleep. The bottle of black powder sat on the small wooden table beside her, almost mocking her. She thought about throwing it away. But then, she imagined her children's hungry face. The next morning, before heading out, she followed the herbalist's instructions. As she cooked, she sprinkled a little of the black powder into her pot. From that day, everything changed. Customers flooded her small store. People who once passed by without looking at her food now stopped and bought from her eagerly. Some even fought to be served first. Day after day, her sales increased. Word spread about how delicious her food was. People swore they had never tasted anything like it before. In just a few months, she saved enough money to rent a small shop. She bought more cooking equipment, new tables and chairs. Soon, she opened a proper restaurant. It was always crowded. People rushed in from different parts of the city just to eat her food. Some came once and never stopped coming. Others brought their friends and family. She made more money than she had ever dreamed of. She moved her children to a better school. She bought new clothes, new furniture, and even started sending money to some of the same relatives who once turned their back on her. Mama Osato's life transformed overnight. But at what cost? Because deep down, she knew this was not ordinary. And one day, she would have to face the consequences. Tina, the new sales girl at Mama Osato restaurant, had always been curious about her boss's strange behavior. From the very first day she started working, she noticed something odd. Every morning, after they finished cooking, Mama Osato would ask all the workers to leave the small storage room where the food was kept. She would then lock herself inside for a few minutes. Nobody knew what she was doing in there, but this routine happened every single day. At first, Tina did not think much of it. Maybe Mama Osato was just checking the food or making sure everything was in order. But as time went on, she began to feel uneasy. There was something strange about the way Mama Osato did it. The way she hurried everyone out of the room. The way she looked around before locking the door, as if making sure no one was watching. And the most disturbing thing, whenever she came out, she had a strange look on her face, almost as if she had done something secret. Tina tried to ignore it, but she could not shake off the feeling that something was wrong. She started paying closer attention. She noticed that Mama Osato never ate the food from the restaurant. She also realized that customers were acting strangely. Many of them came back every single day, almost as if they could not stay away. Some of them would complain that they did not have enough money, yet they would still struggle to buy the food, even if it meant borrowing money from others. Something was definitely not right. Tina could not keep quiet anymore. She told her friends and fellow worker, Blessing, about the suspicions. I don't know what is it, but something is wrong here. Tina whispered as they washed plates at the back of the restaurant. Blessing laughed. You worry too much. Maybe she just likes checking her food alone every single morning. And why does she always lock the door? Tina pressed. Blessing shrugged. Maybe she is praying over the food. Some people like to bless their food before selling. Tina sighed. Maybe Blessing was right. Maybe it was nothing. But something in her heart told her otherwise. She needed to know the truth. That night, she stayed up thinking of a way to find out what Mama Osato was doing inside that storage room. Then an idea came to her. A hidden camera. She whispered to herself. If she placed a small camera inside the storage room, she would finally see what was happening behind that locked door. The next evening, after work, Tina went to a small electronic shop in town and bought a tiny hiding camera. It was small enough to be hidden without being noticed, and it had a battery that could last long enough to record everything. The next morning, she arrived at the restaurant earlier than usual. She pretended to be cleaning while carefully fixing the camera in a corner of the storage room, making sure it had a clear view of the whole place. She adjusted it properly and covered it slightly with a small rag, making sure it was well hidden. Her hands were shaking as she stepped back to look at her work. If Mama Osato found out what she had done, she would surely be in trouble. Whatever Mama Osato was hiding, she was about to find out. And she had no idea what she was about to uncover. As usual, after cooking, Mama Osato ordered everyone to leave the storage room. The cookers, already used to this routine, did not question her. They simply wiped their hands, packed up their things and left. Tina pretended to be busy, arranging plates outside, watching carefully as Mama Osato looked around, making sure no one was nearby. Then she stepped inside and locked the door behind her. She thought she was alone, but this time, Tina's hidden camera was watching her. Inside the room, Mama Osato moved quickly. She reached into the fold of her wrapper and brought out a small black pouch. She untied it carefully, her hands moving with precision. She scooped a small amount of dark powder from the pouch and sprinkled it lightly over the food. Then she took a wooden spoon and stirred the food, slowly whispering something under her breath. The words were unclear, but the way she moved her lips, so carefully, so deliberately. After she was done, Mama Osato tied the pouch again, put it safely back into her wrapper, and dusted her hands as if nothing had happened. She unlocked the door and stepped out, her face calm, her expression normal. Tina waited patiently until Mama Osato got busy at the front of the restaurant, attending to customers. Then, without wasting time, she slipped into the storage room, grabbed the hidden camera, and put it into her bag. Her heart was pounding. She did not tell any of the other workers what she had done. She was not sure what she had just witnessed. She needed to see the video first before deciding what to do next. That night, when she got home, she locked her door and sat down with her phone. The room was dark, except for the dim blue of the screen. Her hands were shaking as she connected the camera and played the video. At first, everything seemed normal. Mama Osato entering the storage room, locking the door, standing over the food. Then Tina saw it. Her eyes widened in shock. Mama Osato had been putting something inside the food. Something dark, something strange. Tina pressed pause and stared at the screen, her breathing heavy. What was that powder? Why was Mama Osato whispering? A cold shiver ran down Tina's spine as she realized that whatever was happening in that restaurant was not ordinary. Tina could not believe her eyes. She played the video again and again, rewinding and pausing, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. Her hands trembled as she held her phone. So this is how Mama Osato became rich. She whispered to herself, her voice shaking. Everything made sense now. The sudden success, the long lines of customers, the way people always crave her food, as if they could not eat anywhere else. It was not just good cooking. It was something else, something dark and unnatural. Tina felt sick. The thought about the countless people, including herself, who had been eating that food, the realization made her stomach turn. Without wasting another second, she made a decision. The world needed to know the truth. She uploaded the video on social media without thinking twice. First, she posted it on Facebook. Then, she sent it to a popular Instagram blog. She shared it on WhatsApp, tagging different people. Within minutes, the video began to spread like wildfire. People were shocked. This cannot be true. Someone commented, I knew there was something suspicious about that place. Another person wrote, I used to eat there. God, what have I consumed? Messages flooded in, and the video kept circulating. Twitter exploded with reactions. Some people demanded Mama Osato immediate arrest. Others said they had always suspected something was off about her food. How people who ate it always wanted more, even when they were not hungry. By midnight, news blog had picked up the news. The video was everywhere. Screenshots of Mama Osato inside the storage room, caught in the act, were trending. The next morning, the video reached the authorities. The police took immediate action. By noon, officers arrived at Mama Osato restaurants. They came in large numbers, their vehicles blocking the entrance. Customers were already seated, enjoying their meals. When the officers stormed in, "Where is the owner of this place?" one officer asked. Mama Osato, who had been at the counter, looked up confused. "Officer, what is the problem?" she asked, forcing a smile. But the moment she saw the phone in his hand, the video playing on the screen, her heart sank. It was over. The officers grabbed her arms and pulled her towards the waiting van. "Let me go. I have done nothing wrong," she screamed, struggling. Customers abandoned their food, standing up in shock. Some gasped. Others took out their phones and started recording as Mama Osato was pushed into the police van. Rumors filled the air. Some people whispered prayers, while others shook their head in disappointment. "So this is how she got rich," someone muttered. "Her 8th year just yesterday." Another person said, his face pale. Mama Osato looked around desperately, but there was no escape. The truth was out, and this was just the beginning. Thanks guys for watching this video. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel to support us, like, share, and do not forget to tell us the country or the cities you are watching from. Thank you guys, we love you all.